This video is about why self-love and why loving yourself is so important, and why I always talk about it on Threads, because I didn't love myself and I didn't know that, and I went out in life without actually knowing myself. And because I did not know myself, I had all these kind of expectations, and I couldn't reach them because one, I didn't know myself, I didn't know my communication, I didn't know my capacity. So I kept slamming my head into this same wall for many years. And for a long period, I really didn't like myself. And I couldn't understand why, because that was like kind of this distorted energy inside my body. Because everybody is here to love themselves. You are here to love yourself. Your neighbor is here to love yourself, to love themselves. Because the better we love and the more we love ourselves, the easier and more beautiful our life gets. And when I realized that, I was like, I have just been spending my life in productivity mode. I had to produce this and I have all these results, and I need to measure everything, and it was such a big mess that. And also because since I was 9 years old, I had all these load reactions from the ACEs, which kept going on for, yeah, maybe 40 years or something, until, no, not 40, maybe 35 years. Uh-oh, the thunder is coming. We can manage. We make the video before the rain is coming. Um, so then when I realized, but if I don't like myself, then maybe I actually do not like anybody, because what is love actually? And then I started studying love, and I realized that when I love myself more, as I said before, my life gets so much more easier and beautiful to live. Also, the reason why you really should love yourself and you deserve to love yourself, because you spend your entire life with yourself. You wake up with the self in the morning and you go to bed with yourself in the night, and you sit with yourself with your problems. So in some way, you have to be your own bestie, you have to love yourself, you need to have compassion for yourself. Because when you love yourself, it also improves your relationships, the ones that are actually supporting you. Because when you start loving yourself, the people who actually do not love you, they more like used you. Then when you start loving yourself, you start to get with people who also love and value themselves. And together, it's a better dynamic, because we have healthier boundaries and we don't seek validation in one another. It's just so cool to be. Also, when you love yourself, it's easier to recover from setbacks or loss. Or loss is a little bit more difficult, but self-love makes mistakes feel like a lesson instead of a proof that I'm not good enough. Because you are, and I am good enough. And the self-love supports you in the fact that it was a learning and not a failure, because you did not know better, and now you know better and you can change. Also, you make better decisions. You can see that what you're doing is not working, and because you respect yourself so much that you do not choose what's not supporting you. It just doesn't happen, because you love yourself so much that you also know where you can get some energy back. People says, yeah, you have to give without expecting anything back. No, it has to be like kind of, I mean, you can give a present to someone and you can go help them with one thing, but in a relationship there has to be a dynamic. I mean, you cannot only breathe out. You have to breathe in and breathe out. So when you love yourself, you in somehow you reduce unnecessary suffering, because you don't talk ugly to yourself. You don't put yourself in a situation where you can tell yourself, there, I told you so, or see how stupid you were. Or, you don't do that, because you love yourself so much that you think about, not like I'm thinking about the step that I'm going to take, but you think about like the other video where I talked about the choices we have. You are more. Uh, uh, it's easier for you to take appropriate action and respond appropriately instead of reacting instinctively. Um, because you love yourself so much, and you have started to know yourself better, and then it's easier for you to also be yourself. You become more authentic when you love yourself, and um, this authenticity also makes you more resilient to things that does not work for you. You know in advance it doesn't work. That's not for me, as the princess in one of Hans Christian Andersen. It's not for me. I don't know how they say it in English, but the princess is really like doesn't work out, and you have to have that kind of. I mean, sometimes you really have to have a little snobbish attitude in order to take care of yourself, and that has nothing to do with the people or the things that you are saying no to. It's just because you can feel this is not good for me. I have a list here because I wanted to make sure I take everything with me, and my brain is so I can speak about 35 things in 30 minutes. So I talked about increasing resilience. Also, you recognize your own the thunder. You you recognize your own worth um, without needing constant approval from other people. Just like Louisa Hay says, I approve of myself. I approve of myself. And she also said, saying it one time a day is barely enough, or saying it 10 times a day is barely enough. And that is true. You have to approve of yourself. You have to compliment yourself, praise yourself, because when you have this kind of energy inside your body, and I had, even though I lived with chronic pains, I realized that the more I love myself, the better I could live these hard days, because my chronic pains were the doctors were not clever enough. So I didn't get a diagnosis, so I couldn't get help from the system. So I had to be, the more I love myself, the better I was at setting all these boundaries and find people who were good for me, and we were good for each other. And we were good at contributing to each other. Like I said before, breathe in and breathe out. Also, when you love yourself, it's easier to take care of yourself. It's easier to do the things that makes you feel good, that takes care of your body, that makes sure you are strong, because you love yourself. When you are in fight or flight mode, as I have been for many years, just taking a shower could be like a mind-blowing difficulty. It's so difficult to take a shower. I think somebody is also playing outside. I don't know if you can hear people screaming. So when you love yourself, you can also grow in your life without reject yourself, because when we don't love ourselves, and especially when we are in fight or flight, we don't allow ourselves to grow, because we don't feel entitled to grow. We don't feel we are worthy. And so self-love, you can say that the self-love is a new kind of wealth, because it makes you feel so good that the more I love myself, the more I was like, well, why do I need all these things? I don't need things. I need some things, but we have too many things in this world, and still we are not happy. That is also one of the things I thought of, that the more, because there is short-term happiness and there are long-term happiness. And short-term happiness is when you go buy a shirt. That's short-term happiness. It lasts about 30 minutes, and maybe also the morning after when you wear it for the first time. But long-term happiness is when you create something, when you make something happen, when you see a routine bears fruit, when you see that you plant something and it grows to the fruit, or you make a project, or you try to invest money and see them grow. Or so self-love is that um, when you love yourself so much, nobody can take it away from you. And that is why the children who grew up in non-ACEs families, they love themselves naturally. And then we who grew up with ACEs, we have to learn it ourselves because nobody loved us unconditionally, and that made us think that we have to uh, um, like prove something in order to be loved, and that is not at all true. Uh, and the more you love yourself, the easier it is to detect toxicity. You don't go into toxicity that easy because you love yourself so much that you are like, what is this? What what are you bringing to the table? You get more like selective. And it is also when you love yourself, it's easier to love others and have compassion with others. Because when you don't love yourself, you don't think that you deserve the best, and you deserve the best. You really do deserve the best. Also, your cells in your body, they are all much more happier. And what did I say here? The cells are happier because it's the biologically, emotionally, or spiritual. There is evidence that chronic self-criticism creates stress, while self-compassion can reduce it. So the body responses of how we treat ourselves mentally, and that is why you have to speak nicely to yourself, treat yourself as your own baby, be lovable with yourself first and foremost, and when you start loving yourself, your inner voice become this kind of ally instead of an enemy. And that is so beautiful when you really feel uh, your own compassion to yourself. You love yourself so much that you forgive yourself. You don't, I mean, we are in an area of people who don't commit crimes against other people, and we have some rules in this self-love. You cannot love yourself so much that it's okay to commit bad things to other people. So with with this self-love, the more you love yourself, the less time and energy you spend fighting yourself, because you can go with the flow. It's easier to listen to your intuition. It's easier to follow the steps that the intuition tells you to do. For example, these videos, my intuition has told me to do them for many years, but I didn't know my why. And I didn't feel entitled, and I didn't feel that I was enough of, I needed to know more, I needed to have accomplished something, as if I did not accomplish anything. So, and here comes the rain, and here comes the cat. So I really just encourage you to love yourself more, praise yourself every day, and follow your heart and take your brain with you. So, and if you have any questions, you are welcome to leave them here in the comments. See you next time.